Woof woof! Hello everybody, Shuffle Woof here with a new album review. Today we will be discussing the new TRDRT album, Weeks/Decades. TRDRT is an ambient artist from New Zealand who loves to dabble with science fiction and outer space as themes. Take, for example, their 2020 debut, November Manifest, or their 2021 project, Moon Midway, which both delve into the otherworldly themes with a bit more of a beat-focused edge. Weeks/Decades is, in my opinion, TRDRT's most expensive-sounding project yet, and their most cohesive in terms of atmosphere. All across this thing I can sense video game influences from the likes of Minecraft and Terraria, as well as the grandiose aesthetics you might hear in sci-fi film soundtracks. Take, for example, the opener here, which begins with grand drones that feel like stretched brass samples and high strings. Similar echoed horn hits are played with later in the track. I like how otherworldly this sounds, the editing making the instruments feel somewhat vague. Almost like something the caretaker might cook up if they were scoring a sci-fi soundtrack. Meet Soundscape. The following track, Alerted Escape, begins with a pulsing lead and washes of light pads. It sounds futuristic and very spacey. Some textured digital squeaks make their way in, as well as some bright synths that only get brighter as the track goes on. I feel these particular synths may get too bright by the end, but overall it does not take away from how interesting it sounds. The next track, Heard and Calm, uniquely starts with some spacious guitar, paired with some plucky arpeggiators. I like how grandiose the synth leads feel later into the piece, as well as the mesmerizing and well-led ending. Lovely. Next is the nearly 17-minute, several moments to ourselves out there, a dreamy soundscape starting with spacious plucks and deep pads. The bright synths later in add good dynamics. Impressively, this track pans out well over the longer runtime. It really gets me in a trance while being textured and varied enough to keep things interesting. Perhaps the most ambitious track on this project is the massive Let Me Ramble We Will Be Free of You, which has a runtime of nearly 40 minutes. Oh my woof! Even if this is adapted from a live ambient performance, I still feel daunted by the length of this one, and I do wish the instruments varied more throughout the runtime. With that being said, TRDRT's taste for soundscapes is still good here. I like the popping, reverb synth plucks and droning bass that make up most of the performance, as well as the skittering minimalist beats, the many synth swells, and the dynamics throughout the different phases. The next track, Fragmented, sounds very similar to a piece from a previous TRDRT's project, Particle Jumper, from Moon Midway. As the tracks on Weeks/Decades are a collection of pieces from the past 2 years, I suppose I would not be surprised if they revisited some of their older work to suit this album. Regardless, this track has many super slow, dreamy pads that very well could have been Paul-stretched. This one reminds me a lot of Terraria with its plucky synths that dance between the left and right ears. I do feel deeper into this track that the synths can feel somewhat harsh over the soft pads, but it is still pleasant. Finally, we have the closer, Nothing This Far Out, But Us. This is an eerie track that starts with a lot of bass and hits of textured percussion. I love the icy pads and chimes, as well as the airy, lush pads that twinkle their way in. The entire track feels serene and brooding at the same time. It is a low-key closer, but a nice one nonetheless. Overall, I am impressed with TRDRT's ability to make thematic soundscapes. This album plays with pads and textures in a way that is eerie and grand in true sci-fi fashion. Definitely give this one a shot if that is your vibe. It is about 100 minutes long, so you will have plenty to dig into. Woof woof!